guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And if you're new, subscribe, like, and comment all down below. And let's see our new video that I posted yesterday. Let's see if how many views it has. The first Noel, guys. Yeah. Okay, that's creeps. Oof. Okay, let's see. Let's check. I got 12 subscribers. Got 13. 13. Let's see how much. Did someone comment?
Hey guys, welcome
Yep.
back to
No. Get out of here. Also, guys, if you like to play Brawl Stars, there's a new event that is lasting for a day and 17 hours. So guys, let's get started with the new book that I have from my library. Vet Volunteers, Say Goodbye. No more Puppy Place books, guys. I read all of them. Chapter 1. Chapter 1. I'm up early making French toast. Not the Wonder Bread kind, the real stuff, with thick day-old French bread, fresh strawberries, and powdered sugar on top. I feel a tug on my shoelaces and look down. Sneakers, I groan. My 6-month-old puppy is having my shoelaces for breakfast. Sneakers is adorable, even though he's a mutt. Short-haired with cute floppy little triangle ears. He's mostly black with a little bit of brown in spots. He also has a white fur around his muzzle, neck and tummy, and 4 white legs. He looks like he's wearing white knee socks. A woman rescued Sneakers and a bunch of other dogs from an awful man who was selling puppies at the farmer's market. The dogs were dirty, starving, and full of worms. Luckily for the pups, the lady brought them in to Dr. Mac's place, animal clinic. That's the veterinarian clinic that my grandmother, Dr. J.J. Mackenzie, runs out of an office attached to her home. We found good homes for most of the dogs, but somehow this little mutt won me over, especially since he kept trying to sneak out through the clinic door into Gran's house like he belonged here. That's how he got the name Sneakers. But the best part was that Gran decided to let me keep him, my very first pet ever. I guess she figured one stray would cheer up the other. Right now, Sneakers is at my feet playing tug-of-war with my laces. He manages to untie one of my shoes. Shoot, I tell him, then laugh at my dumb pun. But Sneakers ignores my command, and I sigh. I love him, but he doesn't mind very well. I guess it's because he's still so young. I'm sure he'll do better when he grows up. Suddenly, I hear someone pounding down the stairs. I roll my eyes. It's my cousin Maggie. She makes more noise than an entire basketball team of boys. She leaps off the second to last stair and skids into the kitchen, her reddish hair stuffed up in a baseball cap. She wads her PJs into a ball and crouches down. "What are you doing?" I ask her. She ignores me, leaps into the air, and shoots her PJ ball into the laundry. basket on top of the washer in the corner of the basket of the kitchen. 2 points, she cheers. Sports. That and animals are the only two things Maggie cares about. She reaches past me into the upper cabinets and pulls down a box of some kind of candy flavored, artificially colored cereal. She pours a bowl full, then leaves the open box on the counter and grabs the milk jug out of the fridge. How can you eat that junk? I ask her. She shrugs. Simple. I spoon it into my mouth, chew and swallow. She always gobbles things down without taking the time to chew them. She says I'm picky about food. I say she'll eat anything. Did I mention we're not exactly twins? You know what I mean, I tell her. I'm making French toast. Real French toast with real French bread, not those frozen things. You like to make it in a microwave? Want some? No time. She chunks the bowl down on the table and begins to overfill it with milk. Basketball camp starts today. My ride will be here any minute. I shrug and turn back to the stove. You're lost. As I flip the first slices of French toast onto the plate, Gran comes in from the clinic. Zoe, that smells heavenly. She unfolds the morning newspaper on the counter and reaches for the coffee pot to refill her cup. Having a real cook around here certainly makes a difference. A difference. Thanks. I grin at the praise and hand her a plate. I don't know that what Gran and Maggie did before I moved in. The day I got here, they had absolutely nothing to eat in the house. I hear Maggie's chair scrape back. Hear her plop down in her seat. Then, ew, gross! Told you, I say, but when I turn around, I realize she's not talking about her cereal. She's talking about something under the table. I take a quick peek. Uh-oh, not again. Sneakers left a little present under the table, and Maggie just put her foot on it. Zoe, Maggie says, drawing out my name in a whine. She pulls off her sneakers and carries it over to the trash. What? What? She cleans off her shoe with a piece of old newspaper. Did you forget to take sneakers out again? Okay, I admit it. The first thing on my mind when I wake up in the morning is not whether the puppy needs to go. I mean, I really do love sneakers, but I grew up with a live-in housekeeper and without any pets. I never had to do any chores or think about anybody else when I got up in the morning, so all this is new to me. But I'm trying to do better. I was going to, I explained as soon as I made breakfast. Maggie looks at me like I'm a total idiot. Don't you get it, Zoe? A dog needs to go out first thing, especially a puppy. She goes to the sink and squirts way too much pink antibacterial dishwashing detergent on the sole of her sneaker. She scrubs at it with a paper towel. Ew! How can she do that? It's it's the sink we use when we cook and wash dishes. Is that sanitary? Shouldn't you do that outside? Maggie just rolls her eyes as she washes her hands. After she dries her hands and her shoe, she grabs some cleansers from under the counter and dumps it into the sink. Then she sits back down on the table and digs into her cereal. Good. Maybe her mouth will be too full of artificial colors and flavors to complain anymore about Sneakers and me. Then she says, "How come you let her get away with this, Gran?" "Wrong. She's not going to let it drop. You never let me keep any of the puppies from the clinic," Maggie complains. "But you let her keep Sneakers. You ought to make her look after him." Gran looks up from her newspaper, her right eyebrow arched. "Maggie," she says firmly, "your cereal's getting soggy." Maggie gets the message. She shuts up and eats her cereal. "Thanks, Gran," I think too quickly, because then she turns and that stern look on me. "Zoe, Sneakers is nearly 6 months old now, but his behavior's not improving." "It's getting worse," Maggie mumbles into her bowl. Gran lets that one go. "I realize this is new to you, but Sneaker needs—" She stops and looks around the room. "Where is he anyway?" "He's right." I look around. Sneaker has disappeared. I feel my cheeks flush. I'm too embarrassed to say I don't know where he is. I turn back to the counter so Maggie won't see my face. I pick beaten eggs in the mixing bowl. He's around." Maggie snorts. Gran sighs. "Zoe, you have to be consistent with your puppy training, or he'll never learn." I stare into the bowl of thick yellow goo. "I'm sorry, Gran," I say. "I promise I'll do better." "Don't promise, Gran," Maggie says. "Promise poor Sneakers." Gran glares at her, and Maggie ducks her head over her bowl. "It's not fair," I say. I'm my defense. I try, I really do. But Sneaker just doesn't listen. Couldn't we hire a professional pet walker or something to train him? That's what they have back home. Back home is Manhattan, the heart of New York City, where I was born and raised. You can hire anybody to do anything in the city. Up there, the streets are filled with dog walkers. I try to explain, and usually they are walking 6 or 7 dogs at a time. "Oh, brother," Maggie mumbles. It looked pretty efficient to me. I shoot back. "What's the point of having a dog if you're gonna to pay someone else to look after it?" Maggie argues. I roll my eyes at her. If she's trying to dance on purpose, it's just like having a housekeeper to do the dirty work. Then the owners get to spend quality time with their pets. It makes perfect sense to me. "Ridiculous," Maggie snorts. "It is not." Gran holds up her hands. between us like a referee at a boxing match. All right, girls, this is not a debate here, and this is Zoe's pet. Maggie, you've got your hands full taking care of Sherlock. Sherlock is Maggie's 7-year-old basset hound. He's slow and calm and trained. What's there to take care of? I smell smugly, so I try again? Can we hire someone? Absolutely not, Gran replies. You know how I feel about that, Zoe. If you if you if you if you This is not a debate here, and this is Zoe's pet. Maggie, you've got your hands full taking care of Sherlock. Sherlock is Maggie's 7-year-old basset hound. He's slow and calm and trained. What's there to take care of? I smile smugly, so I try again. Can we hire someone? Absolutely not, Gran replies. You know how I feel about that, Zoe. Zoe. If you can care enough to have a pet, you should care enough to take care of it. Now I'd appreciate if you clean up this mess. And then, do I have to whine escapes my lips? Before I can stop it, I know Gran hates whiners. Hey, this is a real world, Maggie says. We don't have maids here. We clean up our own messes, Maggie Gran warns. That's enough. Gran rarely gets really angry at Maggie or me, but she looks as if she's seriously thinking about it this morning as she stares at both of us. She opens her mouth to say something, but then we hear the bell over the door to the clinic. Someone's here to see Dr. Mac. I have to go, Gran says. Zoe, please clean up this mess. Then take Sneakers out. Maggie grins at me like a Cheshire cat. And no more squabbling, she tells us both. Gran grabs her coffee mug and hurries through the door to the clinic. I stare at her forgotten plate of cold French toast. Maggie seems to make a point of smacking her lips while she finishes her cereal. I make a point of not noticing. A horn beeps outside. Maggie turns up her cereal bowl and slurps the last of the milk. The spoon clatters in the bowl as she dumps it in the sink and grabs her backpack. I glare at the table. A few pink and green O's lie drowned in the puddle of milk. How can I possibly be related to this girl? She has the table manners of a horse. Hey, I call after her. What about we clean up our own messes here? The slam of the screen door is my only answer. I grab a rag and wipe up the remains of Maggie's breakfast. Okay, I know it must not be easy for Maggie. The way I moved in on her. Her parents died when she was a baby, so she was raised by Gran and never had to share her or the clinic. But it's not my fault. It's not like I asked to come here, and none of us knew I was going to be here this long. With a groan, I grab some paper towels and some newspaper from the recycling bin and glare at the mess on the floor. Might as well get this over with, Sneakers, you little poop factory. Where are you? I call out. No answer. I guess he's smart enough to hide out until all this blows over. I pull out a chair and peer under the table. I hate to seem such a wimp. Maggie doesn't seem to mind sticking her hands in all kinds of goop. And believe me, we get a lot of icky messes around the clinic with all the sick animals we have. But I never had to clean up anything before I got here. I mean, my parents got divorced so long ago. My dad's like a character in a movie you barely remember seeing. So it was just me and my mom living in a nice modern apartment building in Manhattan. Mom was an actress on a daytime soap opera, and she was always at work on rehearsals or auditions. In a lot of ways, she'd been more like a big sister to me than a mom. Our housekeeper, Ethel, took care of everything. She got Mom to work on time, washed her and ironed all our clothes, and cooked all our meals. She even helped me with my homework and taught me how to French braid my hair. Ethel kept the place so spotless. I never saw any messes, much less had to clean them up. I guess I never realized how much work Ethel put into keeping our apartment nice. It was like having an aunt or a fairy godmother living with you. Only she got paid. Everything was perfect till Mom's soap got canceled. She was really upset at first, but then she got herself Pisched up to move to LA to audition for some regular TV series. I was so excited until she told me the rest of the news. She wasn't taking me. I spray at Sneakers' spot on the floor with disinfectant, then scrub with an old rag. I scrub hard, remembering what Mom said. She tried to explain that it was for my own good, that she'd be too busy for auditions along, and that I never get to see her anyway. I wouldn't be fair to me, she said, but was it fair to leave me behind? I tried to get her to let me stay in Manhattan with Ethel. I loved Ethel, but Mom said we couldn't afford a housekeeper. Now that she was out of work, then Ethel went home to look after her sick brother. And suddenly, I didn't have anywhere to go. At first, I dreamed of this fantasy I would call my long-lost father and go live with him. It would be this wonderful reunion, like straight out of the movies. He realized how much he missed me and be thrilled to have me back in his life. Maybe he and Mom would even not an option was all Mom would say about that. So Mom came up with an even more bizarre plan. She'd send me to stay with her mom, Dr. J.J. Mackenzie, a person she didn't even get along with all that well herself. Just for a little while, she said, until the work thing got straightened out. Once I was here, Gran insisted I enroll in school and finish out the school year. That was in March. Now it's August, and I'm still here. Sometimes I wonder if my mom's ever going to come get me. Chapter 2. Guys, I'm going to get some water because that was a lot of words in the same pages. Okay, let's get started with Chapter 2. Chapter 2. After I clean up from breakfast, I look for Sneakers, but I can't find him anywhere. Frustrated, I give up and hurry through the door that leads into Gran's clinic. It's almost hard to remember how strange this place seemed when I first came here. I'd never been around animals much, had never even been to a vet's office before. Dr. Mac's place was noisier, roadier, and well-smellier than I'd ever imagined. But the biggest surprise was how quickly I fell in love with the animals. Mom's not a pet person, so maybe this new feeling for animals is something I inherited from Gran and just didn't know about till now. What I've learned about animals in this: they don't care when you're from or what kinds of clothes you wear or what mother does for a living. They love you for who you are. That's one reason I'm starting to actually like being here. Not that I'd ever tell Maggie that. I mean, I still get nervous around some of the animals that shows up in Gran's clinic, especially the weird ones like ferrets and Gila monsters. One guy even bought a sick tarantula. I think Mom would be proud of me if she could see what I do here. I work as a vet volunteer, along with several other kids. Brina, Lake, Sutton, Pedal, David, Hunchton, and Maggie, of course. They started working together when the clinic was full of sick puppies, including Sneakers, and Gran was desperate for help. The puppies had all been bought from a man at a farmer's market who was running a puppy mill, an illegal business where dogs are bred in really rotten conditions just so somebody can make a fast buck. I arrived in the middle of it all and had to jump right in. We all did such a good job. Such a good job, Gran said, that she decided to keep us on as volunteers. We get along pretty well, even though we're all different. Now that's it's summer vacation. Most of us help out every day. This morning, the others are already here, ready to go to work. Good morning. Good morning, Gran says with a big smile as she comes out of her office. I'm so glad you're here today. Do you have a lot of patients today, Dr. Mack? Sunita asked. Any cats? Sunita loves cats. I've got something better, Gran says, grinning. She holds up a clipboard with a list. A lot of chores. Everyone groans. Gran reads down the list. The supply closet needs to be replenished. Sunita, can you take care of that? And the kennels need some cleaning. We're expecting a lot of boarders this weekend. There's a lot of good natured complaining as she goes down her list, but nobody really means it. We all feel pretty lucky to get a volunteer at a cool place like a clinic. The bell over the door rings again. I look up and see my favorite clinic. Yum, yum, I explain. I run over and scoop the cute black and white dog into my arms. What are you doing here, you little sweetie pie? I say, stroking his long silky hair. Are you sick? It's an emergency, jokes the owner. Jane Young, he's having a bad hair day, and he's got a big date. I laugh, and Yum Yum licks my face. Yum Yum is a tiny dog called a Shih Tzu. He's not a puppy. This is as big as he'll ever get. He almost looks like an expensive stuffed animal. Jane is an old friend of Gran's. She owns a beauty salon, so she would have a dog with long, brushable hair. Gran's been letting me take care of Yum Yum's grooming this summer. We just got a last-minute call to visit the kids' cancer ward at the hospital, Jane explains. You know, just to cheer them up a little. The dog that usually goes in on Monday can't make it today, so I agreed to fill in. Can you do him right now? Sure, we've got time, says Gran. I take Yum Yum and Jane back into the grooming area and slip on an apron. Washing a dog can get really messy, especially if the dog isn't too happy about having a bath. Yum Yum doesn't fuss at all, though even when I dab a small amount of ointment into his eyes to protect them from the shampoo. Next, I put cotton balls in his ears to keep the water out. I laugh. On Yum Yum. They looked like tiny earmuffs. Talking softly to Yum Yum, I turn on the sprayer and check to make sure the water is warm, but not too warm. Then I hold the sprayer about an inch from his back and soak his coat down to the skin. Gran taught me how an important lesson about bathing animals. Be careful never to spray them in the face. It really upsets them. Once Yum Yum is good and wet, I soap him up with a mild doggy shampoo. When I shampooed Yum Yum the first time, I wanted to use my salon shampoo. the Ann's conditioner that was the best brand of shiny, silky hair. I thought it would make Yum Yum smell great and make him look like a doggy movie star. But Gran told me that you should never use people shampoo on dogs. It can be too harsh. Yum Yum's tail wags as I gently rub the soap through his coat. Some animals hate to be groomed, but Yum Yum seems to enjoy his shampoo. He doesn't try to squirm away, and he looks like he's smiling. When I finish, I rub him down with a towel. Then I use a blow dryer set on a quiet, low temperature, setting him to dry him. If you never get tired of the animal's business, you've got a job at my salon, Jane jokes. This is a lot more fun than some of the things we have to do here, I tell her as I comb Yum Yum's soft hair. I like to clean up dog poop. Gran stops by in between patients. Yum Yum, Yum Yum, what a handsome pup you are. She smiles at me. How's our groomer doing? Great, Jane tells her. Yum Yum's always glad to see Zoe. Then she turns back to me. Say, how would you like to come with me today and see Yum Yum do his stuff? You mean to the hospital? Jane nods. What do you say, JJ? She asked Gran. Can you spare your assistant for an hour or so? Can I, Gran? I asked hopefully. Please? Sure, Gran says. Things are kind of slow around here today. And don't worry, we'll have some cleanup for you to do when you get back. I know she's teasing a little, though. She barely cracks a smile. And I also know there really will be chores for me to do when I get back. Thanks, Gran. I hear a little bark and look down at my feet. Sneakers has snuck into the clinic again. I've got one more thing to do before I go, though, I tell Jane. She looks down and laughs. Gran shakes her head. Sneakers had peed on the floor. Uh-oh. Chapter 3. I hold Yum Yum in my lap as Jane drives us to the hospital. It's a beautiful hot August day, so we roll the windows down and drive with the wind in our hair. When we pull into the parking lot, I stare up at the huge hospital building, so many windows. I think about the people inside and why they're there. They're there. Suddenly, I feel really weird. When I lived in Manhattan with my mom, I got to go lots of places with her. I've traveled to other countries, been to fancy restaurants, the theater, and the ballet. Mom would even take me to set up of her soap. She liked to brag that for a kid my age, I could talk to just any even grown-ups. But I've never been in a hospital, never even visited anybody, especially sick kids. I try to ignore the strange feeling in my pit stomach. In the pit of my stomach, I put on a smile and walked through the automatic doors into the lobby. Everything looks cheerful, but in a forced way, kind of way. Like we're all trying hard to pretend that nobody's sick. As if nothing's wrong, Jane leads me down a long hallway. The children's cancer ward is on the first door. Through some swinging doors, it looks just like the hospital from the soap my mom was on. Expect the doors, and nurses don't all look like gorgeous models and movie stars. They look pretty nice though. The place smells like disinfectant colored drawings, dot and faded green walls like wildflowers. Pictures of rainbows, of mommies and daddies. Signs that say, "I love you, Dr. Bill." As Jane checks in at the nurse's desk, I peek down the hall and into the nearest room. Oh my gosh! There's a girl about my age, propped up in a bed watching cartoons, and she's totally bald. I've heard that chemotherapy, the drugs they give people to try to cure cancer, can make people lose their hair, but I've never actually seen anybody it's happened to. I suddenly feel they're conspicuous with my thick blonde hair streaming down below my shoulders. I wish I'd skipped the shampoo and blow dry this morning. I wished I'd simply stuffed my hair up in under a baseball cap like Maggie. I'm speechless. I mean, it's one thing to be able to ask a smiling soap star for an autograph, or to order from a waiter using the French that you've learned at school. But what do you say to a girl without any hair? I hug Yum Yum to my chest. I'm really not prepared for this. Then I feel an arm slip around my shoulders. Don't worry, Zoe, Jane says softly with a reassuring smile. They're normal kids like you. They've just had some really rotten luck. Yeah, I whisper. Cancer's a stinking disease, she adds, but you can't catch it from another person, and it doesn't change these kids in here. She taps her chest over her heart. But their hair, Jane chuckles softly. That's how I got into this in the first place. She explains I do free hair styling for chemotherapy patients. And if they want, I help them with wigs till their own hair grows back. But wigs are uncomfortable for a lot of kids, so they feel better going on going natural. She winks at natural. She winks at me. You'll get used to it. I smile, but inside I'm thinking, how could you never get used to suddenly? Yum Yum spots the tall, skinny kid at the end of the hall. I bite my lip. Bald head, shapeless hospital growth. Oh gosh, at this distance, I can't even tell if it's a boy or a girl. Yum Yum barks and wriggles in my arms. Go ahead, Jane says. You can just put him down and let him go. I stoop down and release him. The kid grins and throws a small red ball as Yum Yum dashes after it down the hall. I hear kids squeal and call out his name as they wandered out of their rooms. Normal kids sounds not what you'd expect in the hospital. Yum Yum catches the ball and carries it over to another patient, a young girl who looks about 8. Give the young girl commands. Instantly, Yum Yum lays the ball at her feet. Good dog, the girl praise him. She gives his head a good scratching. I wish Sneakers would behave like that. I tell Jane, I mean, don't get me wrong. He's a wonderful dog, and he's always there for me when I'm sad the way Mom used to be. But he sure doesn't mind me very well. Don't worry, Jane says. He'll learn. He's still a puppy. Just give it time, and stick with it. Then maybe one day you can train Sneakers to do therapy visits too. I roll my eyes. No way, he's barely housebroken. Well, you do have to get down first, she chuckles. I follow Jane down to a lounge area. The windows look out onto a pretty garden in front of the hospital. There are lots of plants around the room, plus several jigsaw puzzles and a chess set laid out on some tables. Maybe of the kids gather around. They're all different ages, from teenagers to really little kids. Some have hair, some don't. Some look okay, others look really sick, pale and thin, and tired, like they've had the flu or something. But they all smiled at the sight of Yum Yum. Hey, Michael, check it out. That dog looks like a runaway wig. A teenage boy jokes. I guess he hasn't seen Yum Yum before. Huh? Don't make fun of my main man. My main man, the boy named Michael replies. Just wait till you see him do his tricks. He whistles softly, but claps his hands. Yum Yum, come here, boy. Yum Yum trots over. Sit, Michael says, and Yum Yum instantly obeys. Michael grabs a doggy treat from a jar and holds it in the air. Sit up, Yum Yum. I'm amazed when Yum Yum stands up on his 2 hind feet. Michael even gets him to walk a few steps. The kids laugh and clap. So do I. Make him roll over, a girl about my age shouts. Michael makes a rolling motion with his right hand. Roll over, Yum Yum, roll over. Yum Yum rolls over and over and the linoleum floor. The kids clap and cheer as if they were at the circus. Now watch this, Michael tells the other boy. Take a bow, Yum Yum. Michael dips his head. Yum Yum sticks out one paw and bends low over it. He really looks like he's bowing. Michael Melton, a nurse, calls out. The laughter dies as quickly as if someone had turned off a TV for a moment. Michael looks tired and much older, more blood work for a Nurse Bennett. he complains to his buddy Yuck. Then he turns back to Yum Yum. See you later, pal, Yum Yum barks, and Michael laughs. Okay, little buddy, shake. He sticks out his hand, and Yum Yum puts his small paw into it. Michael gives the paw a gentle shake. When Michael turns back to the nurse, he looks like himself again. Okay, Dracula, he tells her dramatically, holding out his arms in gesture of mock helpless. Do your worst, Nurse. Do your worst, Nurse Bennett just laughs, shakes her head, and leads Michael down the hall as a kid line to shake Yum Yum's paw. I turn to Jane. I can't believe it. Yum Yum ought to be on TV. How did you teach him all those things? Jane chuckles. Well, he was little. When he was little, I used to hold up treats for him. That's how he learned to stand up on his hind legs. Some of the tricks are things the kids here at the hospital have taught, so he's had years of practice. A little girl who looks about 6 or 7 comes up to us. Hi, Stephanie, Jane says. What's new? My mom brought me some new butterfly clips. She holds them up proudly for us to see. Oh, they're gorgeous, Jane coos. I'm speechless. Her mother brought her hair clips. What kind of mom would do something like that? Poor Stephanie doesn't even have hair. Stephanie nods. My mom says, therefore, when my hair grows back. For when my hair grows back. For when my hair grows back. For when my hair grows back. And she says, that'll be really soon. And she says, it will be prettier than ever. I nearly blush. I feel so dumb. What kind of mom would do that? A smart one. She's giving Stephanie something to look forward to. Just then Yum Yum scampers up to Stephanie and licks her leg. Stephanie squeals with laughter. Hello, Yum Yum. She bends down and gives the little dog a kiss on top of his head. I don't have any hair right now, she tells him, so you can borrow these if you want. She looks up at Jane. Is it okay? She asks. Okay with me, Jane says, as long as Yum Yum doesn't mind. Stephanie plops down on the floor beside Yum Yum and goes to work. She puts the butterfly clips in the long silky hair around his ears. Gorgeous, Stephanie pronounces. I'm amazed that Yum Yum doesn't mind. He's so good with kids. Stephanie gives him a hug. Then she makes a disgusted face. Yum Yum, I love you, but you need to brush your teeth. Some of the other kids laughed, but I noticed that Jane is frowning. Maybe it's that new dog food I've been buying, she says to the nurse. I think it's giving him bad breath. Check the ingredients for garlic, the nurse jokes. That's what always does it for me. Suddenly, Yum Yum breaks away from the crowd of kids and takes off for a corner of the room. A girl is sitting there in a wheelchair with her back to the others. A teddy bear balloon tried to one-handle Bob's for attention. The girl doesn't seem to know it's there. She's got a large blue bucket hat tugged down over her brow, shielding her eyes as she stares out the window at nothing. Her thin hands lie forgotten in her lap. Yum Yum sits up by her slippered feet and barks at the girl. She doesn't move. It's like she doesn't even hear him. What's wrong with that girl? I quickly asked Jane. Jane sighs. That's Emma Morgan. Poor kid. They tell me she's having a hard time of it. We all try to get her to socialize with the other kids, but she tries, but she doesn't seem interested. Jane smiles wistfully. Most kids are just naturally hopeful, so even when they get sick with cancer, they roll with the punches pretty well, especially if they have good support. But Emma, she seems awful down. Never talks much. Even Michael can't get her to laugh. That is serious, I say. I watch her for a moment. She seems lonesome. That could account for a lot of it, Jane says. Apparently, her parents are divorced. Her mom works full-time, and her brother all away at college in California. So she's here by herself for most of the time. Jane lowers her voice. I don't think she hears from her dad much. Think she hears from her dad much. That's something I can definitely relate to. Nurse Bennett told me a neighbor had to bring her in for a treatment this time. A treatment this time. Treatment. Jane's awfully down, never talks much. Even Michael can't get her to laugh. That is serious, I say. I watch her for a moment. She seems lonesome. That could account for a lot of it, Jane says. Apparently, her parents are divorced. Her mom works full-time, and her brothers away at college in California. So she's here by herself for most of the time. Jane lowers her voice. I don't think she hears from her dad much. That's something I can definitely relate to. Nurse Bennett told me a neighbor had to bring her in for treatment this time. She adds as I go to get Yum Yum. I see the girl's face reflect in the glass window. She's looking at me, at my hair. Her brown eyes are large, beautiful, and hopeless, just like some of the hurt and scared animals I've seen come into clinic. I'm learning how to deal with animals. Clinic, I'm learning how to deal with animals like that, but I'm not sure what to do with people. I put on my best smile, scoop up Yum Yum, and walk around so Emma can see me. Hi, I'm Zoe, I say. How how are you doing? My words seem to hang in the air. What a dumb thing to say. Of course she's doing terribly. She got cancer. I tried to cover up my goof by laying Yum Yum in her lap. Doesn't Yum Yum look cute? I say, I just washed and blow-dried his hair this morning. Cringe! What's wrong with me? Hair! It's like when they say don't think about pink elephants. Then it's all you can think about. It's not like me to say the wrong thing. It must be nerves, but Emma doesn't seem to notice my dumb remarks. Slowly, shyly, she reaches out to stroke Yum Yum's soft fur, and when Yum Yum barks, she wags her little tail. Emma actually smiles. It's like the sun coming out on a cloudy day. I can see why, in spite of sadness, Jane likes to come where. Maybe now I can get Emma to talk a little. I don't know what it's like to have cancer, but I do know what it's like to feel lonely and miss your mom and to have a dad who's totally out of the picture. I notice a book tucked down beside her thin legs. So I see you've got a book here. Book there, I began. Awkwardly, I like to read too. What are you reading? Emma looks at the book as if it appeared there by magic. She picks it up, then shrugs and holds it out to me. I don't recognize the title, so I open the book. On the title page, someone has quickly scrawled to Emma, from Dad. I flip through the pages and frown. It's a story from Talking Bunnies. I can tell by the big type that the book is for very young reader. But Emma is at least my age. I guess Dad doesn't come around very often if he thinks his 12-year-old daughter is still reading books like this. Oh, this looks interesting, I fib, trying to be polite. Emma shoots me a look that says liar, like she developed radar lately for people who don't tell her the truth. So I lean forward and look her straight in the eye. For a first grader, I say in a goofy voice. Then something happens, something that feels like a miracle. Emma actually laughs out loud. I laugh too, and Yum Yum barks happily, wagging a fan-like tail. Dad, she says, rolling her eyes. What are you going to do? Tell me about it. I agree. I reached for a chair to drag closer so that I can sit down. Maybe now I can get Emma to talk some. But then Nurse Bennet calls me. Sorry, Zoe. It's time to go. Darn. Just when I was getting somewhere. I gently scoop up Yum Yum from Emma's lap. It was nice meeting you, I say. We'll see you again soon. But the sun has already gone back behind the clouds. Yeah, Emma says vaguely. She's facing the window again. staring out at nothing as I carry Yum Yum down the hall. A lot of the kids walk along with us, petting Yum Yum and telling us goodbye. Yum Yum barks happily. I feel as if I was just getting comfortable. I'm quiet as we head down the hall toward the lobby. You were great, Jane tells me. I know it's not easy the first time, but they're terrific kids, and a lot of them aren't just sick. They're also far away from home, away from their family and friends. It really gives them a lift to have folks and dogs visit them. Kinds of make you appreciate, but I can't finish the sentence. I've got a funny little lump in my throat. When we step out of the hospital, the sun seems to be shining brighter. Or maybe I'm just looking at everything a little bit different. I put Yum Yum down on the sidewalk. He trots along a few steps ahead of us. We walk toward the car. I watch him amazed as, so well trained, Jane doesn't even have to use a leash with him. He always stays by her side. Jane and I are almost silent on our way to the car. Sometimes that makes me feel nervous around the grown-ups. I like I need to be thinking up something interesting to say, but it feels okay with Jane. I'm glad she doesn't try to make a small talk. When we reach the car, I pick up Yum Yum and get into the passenger side of the front seat. He sits nicely at my feet as I buckle my seat belt. Then I scoop him up into my lap. He sits up tall and looks like he's smiling, panting. He peeks out the side window as if he's excited about driving and wants to see where we're going next. Gran says some dogs hate riding in cars sometimes because their owners only drive them in cars when they're taking them to have something painful done at the vet's office. I can tell Jane takes Yum Yum with her in a car lot. Smile down at the pooch as we drive away. Then I notice something around Yum Yum's mouth. Do you have a tissue, Jane? I think one of the kids have slipped Yum Yum a messy treat. Sure. Keeping her eye on the road, she reaches for her purse on the seat between us and unzips a pocket. Look in here and see if you see some. I pull a tissue out of one of those tiny purse packs. Then use it to wipe gently around Yum Yum's mouth. There you go, sweetie. You're nice, and I stop when I look at the tissue. It has a small streak of something red on it, and it doesn't look like food. It looks like blood. It's Yum Yum hurt? We will stop at a red light. I lay my head on Jane's arm. Jane, look. What? She frowns, puzzled at tissue I'm holding. Do you think Yum Yum's hurt his mouth chasing that ball? I asked. Maybe. She lifts Yum Yum's chin with her finger. Look, here, little guy, she says, playfully stern. What have you done to yourself? She peers closely at him. Someone behind us beeps. The red light has turned green. Jane turns back at the road. A light frown creases her brow as she drives through the frown creases her brow as she drives through the intersection. I'm sure it's nothing. Yeah, I see, feeling a little nervous. I crumbled a little tissue and throw it away in a tiny trash bag Jane keeps on the floor. Yum Yum's due for a checkup anyway, Jane goes on. When I get back to the clinic, I'll see if the doc can take a look at the old boy. Chapter 4, guys. So, guys, we're gonna end this video right here because I need a rest, guys. I had to read like 38 pages. Way more than the Puppy Place books, guys. But I don't mind. But I need a rest. And bye. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment all down below.